offensive rebounding team. Usually that's the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Slipping and injured is Zion Williamson.
We all know about Zion Williamson, the 6'7", 290-pound 18-year-old who has been one of the most exciting prospects we have ever seen. But what if I told you Zion just lost Nike over $1 billion in just 30 seconds? This is how. What's going on, basketball fans? My name is Josh and I am back with another video. When it comes to Zion Williamson, very few players have ever gained the amount of national attention as him. This guy is a physical specimen like we have never seen before. A 290-pound 18-year-old who can absolutely jump out of the gym and poster anyone in his way. He sounds like he's straight out of a video game. Besides the hype behind Lonzo and LeVar Ball, Zion is the most hyped athlete since the king himself, LeBron James. He was ranked the second best player in the nation coming out of high school behind RJ Barrett and is projected to be the #1 overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, and it's not even close. Zion far and away is the best prospect coming out of this year's class. But with this hype comes a ton of responsibility. Zion has a ridiculous amount of power over much of the athletic world. Once Zion declares for the draft, several brands are going to enter the sweepstakes to sign this once-in-a-generation type talent. But like I said, with that type of attention, you can have some major implications for the lives of thousands of people within the sports industry. And that brings me to February 20th, 2019. The #1 seeded Duke Blue Devils were matched up against Coach K and the North Carolina Tar Heels. This was one of the most hyped up college basketball games in recent memory. I mean, you had two of the most popular teams, the top players in the nation, the former president in attendance, and millions of people around the world tuning in to watch this hyped up matchup. All eyes were on this matchup between two of the biggest juggernauts in the sport. The game tipped off, and about 30 seconds in, Zion made a routine move and tore straight through his Nike PG 2.5s. Zion hit the floor in pain, and at first the injury looked much worse than it actually was. To be honest, when I first saw Zion fall, it looked like he had either broken or dislocated his foot. But when you start to look a little closer, you realize that you can see his sock through the midsole of his shoe. Even the former president of the United States, Barack Obama, who was in attendance, was shocked by what he had just witnessed. Eventually, Zion got up with a slight limp and walked his way to the locker room with Duke's athletic trainer. Later that night, it seemed like the players and the coaches were pretty somber about what had just happened with Zion Williamson. The next morning, he was diagnosed with a mild knee sprain and is currently listed day to day. End of story, right? Not at all. This goes way deeper than just a mild knee sprain. Zion absolutely shook the athletic world, and this one equipment malfunction had a major domino effect. As soon as Zion tore through his shoe, the first question was how? Clearly, Zion plays with so much power, but very rarely do shoes just fall apart like this. The one that I can remember most vividly is when Manu Ginobili tore through his shoe, but even then, he didn't get hurt like this. Regardless of whether this was an equipment failure or Zion just being too powerful, the blame fell onto Nike's lap. Within the next 24 hours, Nike stock dropped 1.7%. 1.7% of their shareholders' wealth equates to $1.1 billion. Let that sink in. By Zion Williamson slipping and tearing through his shoe, Nike lost over $1 billion of wealth. This makes it one of the most expensive apparel failures in history. In the biggest game of the year so far, the most popular player's shoe failed on him, and he got injured. An injury that has Zion considering whether or not he should continue playing college basketball. As a firm that has been really good in public relations, Nike released a public statement almost immediately about the incident. This statement said, "We are obviously concerned and want to wish Zion a speedy recovery. While this is an isolated occurrence, we are working to identify the issue." But the thing is, the story doesn't end there. this situation has other implications as well. First of all, Zion tore through Paul George's signature shoe. Among the entire NBA, PG has the most worn Nike shoe, more than LeBron, more than Kyrie, and more than Kevin Durant. This now affects Paul George's line and ultimately affects Nike. How willing are people gonna be to purchase a shoe that just ripped on national TV? This is something that's always gonna be in the back of the consumer's mind when they are trying to purchase a brand new basketball shoe. They're gonna see the same pair of PGs in a sneaker shop and think to themselves that that is the same shoe that injured Zion Williamson. Those little things can have major effects for a company, especially an apparel company like Nike. Paul George did the right thing as soon as he had a press conference and apologized immediately, even though it wasn't really his fault.
Paul, what were your thoughts when you saw what happened with Zion Williamson?
First is I want to wish him all the best. I don't know the severity of the injury right now. But just wish him all the best through the recovery if it is something severe. And honestly, I'm just there for him through that time of being hurt, being injured on a big stage, big game, him not being able to play that. But outside of that, I don't necessarily know what happened, how it happened. Talked with Nike to see what went wrong, what happened with the shoe. I take pride in that. My shoe has been a successful shoe, not only in college but in the NBA. A lot of people have been in them, a lot of people have been wearing them. So I don't necessarily know. It's never happened to my knowledge before. So that's tough.
But it doesn't end there. Zion Williamson, without question, is going to be one of the biggest sneaker free agents probably in NBA history. Every big juggernaut in the space, like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Puma, are going to want the opportunity to sit Zion Williamson down and convince him why he should sign with their company. So the question is, how does this affect Zion's sneaker endorsements in the future? Duke is a Nike school, and as a result, Zion has worn several of their signature shoes. From the Kyrie 4s to the LeBron 16s to Nike's new Hyperdapps, Zion has dabbled in a little bit of everything. And before the incident, Nike without question was the frontrunner to sign Zion Williamson. But all that has changed now. At the time I'm recording this video, Adidas is currently the frontrunner according to betting odds, and that's pretty crazy. Now I think it's pretty safe to say that whoever signs Zion is probably going to offer him a signature shoe as well. And when it comes to Nike is going to be forced to probably offer more to sign Zion. When Nike was founded by Phil Knight, the company's core values included having the highest quality products on the market and building a strong brand image. Everyone can recognize the swoosh no matter where you are from. But this moment absolutely destroyed Nike's image and the quality of the products that Nike has built their brand around. Other companies like Adidas or Puma have been making strides in the industry and have been legitimate competitors to Nike. So those are also going to be intriguing options for Zion Williamson. But if Zion decides to go with Nike, there have been some rumblings that Nike is going to develop a shoe that can contain the force of Zion Williamson, and that's pretty intriguing. But the bottom line of this entire situation is that it is absolutely insane to think about the amount of power that these athletes have on these companies and on the entire industry. By Zion Williamson slipping and tearing through a shoe, the company lost over $1 billion in stocks. But with that being said, this has been one of the hottest topics in all of basketball right now, and it just goes to show how hyped up Zion Williamson is. And the question now is whether or not Zion will decide to stay at Duke or decide to declare for the draft and train for hopefully a successful NBA career. We'll see what happens. But this video and topic is something that I've never really made a video about before, talking about the business side of things. I mean, it's very interesting. So with that being said, that is the story of how Zion Williamson lost Nike $1 billion and the implications of the whole situation. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button, also hit that like button. I've got a ton more videos coming out here in the next couple of weeks, so make sure you guys stay tuned. But that's it for me. Till next time, peace.